Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. The two are interchangeable. And welcome to the next stage of, or the next episode of Reflections. So in this show, for those of you that might be new to this show, have not seen it before or seen this for the first time, it's when I take a topic, something in the news that I think is worth discovering, but also as well filtering it through some kind of philosophical insight, but then dropping in, then dropping in something that I think is of interest and development and wonder in the world. So in this show, I'm going to talk about Elon Musk and the concepts around megalomania. And we'll be looking as well at Marcus Aurelius, again, things that he said. And then we'll be looking at places in the world where they've got some nice concepts of living. And it's going back to Asia again, actually. We're going to be looking at Singapore. So normally, what I would like to do is to record this video directly into StreamYard. But when you record it directly into StreamYard, sometimes there are sound issues and stuff like that, picture quality issues. So I'm doing this on my phone. And then at some point, when I'm going to share the clips that I want to clip, I want to share, I'm going to literally flip my phone around and play that directly off YouTube, but be recording it. So it's all going to be almost a bit like a documentary vibe. I was thinking like, I could download the clips and then cut them in and blah, 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 and try all this, that, and the other. And it's just going to add so much extra time. And the sun is shining outside and I want to make the most of it. Yeah. So one of the things I'm going to start out quoting again from Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius. If you're not sure who he is, you can just check in my earlier videos. But he used to be an emperor in Rome, and he wrote a famous book of called Meditations, and which you can see here. If you can see here, Meditations. Yeah, the philosophy classic. Yeah, so Marcus Aurelius. And here, now last time, I think it was in one of my first videos, I read from book 1, Meditations, and I read from section 11. Today I'm going to read from section 14. And this is talking about, so imagine this is an all-powerful emperor and his notions of what the responsibilities and the duties of power of leadership entail. Need to remember, back then, thousands of years ago, to be the emperor of Rome was to basically be the emperor of the known and civilized world at that time. Incredibly powerful. But this is what he had to say. So this is book 1, section 14. From my brother, Severus, he says brother, so he means almost kind of spiritual brother in a way. From my brother, Severus, to love my kin and to love truth and to love justice. And through him I learned to know Thracia, Helvidius, Cato, Dio, Brutus. And from him, so these are obviously his friends, and from him I received the idea of a political state in which there is the same law for all, one administered with regard to equal rights and equal freedom of speech. Imagine that. This is thousands of years ago. Yeah, these aren't new concepts, obviously. And the idea of a kingly government which represents most of all the freedom of the governed. Yeah, so, so not tyranny, basically. I learned from him also consistency in undeviating steadiness in my regard for philosophy and a disposition to do good and to give to others readily and to cherish good hopes and to believe that I am loved by my friends. And in him I observed no attempt to conceal his opinions with respect to those of whom he disapproved, and that his friends had no need to speculate about what he wished or did not wish, but it was quite plain. So here he's talking about his friend who is giving him this example of honesty, transparency, and not creating ambiguity or fear in relationships, being honest and being true to one's word, being a statesman that is upholding the values of goodness and integrity, and that should all be extended to everyone under the proviso of free speech. This is coming from an emperor. Yeah, an emperor is saying this. And then from the bit, this is the next section, which is section 15. And I highlighted this a while ago. Anyway, from Maximus, I learned self-mastery and not to be led aside by anything, and cheerfulness in all circumstances, as well as in illness, and a good mixture of gentleness and dignity in one's character, and to do what was set before me without complaining. Yeah? Now, isn't that remarkable? And we can all take, and I often take inspiration from that quote. Because the duty of being a good citizen, as it were, is to do one's work and make one's contribution without complaining too much. Yeah. But when there's need for complaint, like for example, like to stand up for human rights, etc., and all of this stuff, especially with some of the craziness, a lot of the craziness we see happening in the United States, of course, that has to happen. But imagine if we had more leaders like Marcus Aurelius. Think of how different the world would be. This was back in the time when, if we just think, this is thousands of years ago. Imagine what life was like. Life was pretty short, yeah, for most of people in the world back then. You know, if you lived to 40 something, that was considered old. Yeah, if you had time to get gray hairs, that was like, wow. Yeah, because life could be brutally short. And, you know, we don't have the same kind of checks and balances and stuff that we have potentially at our disposal now. But just think of those things that he was saying about the importance of being a leader. And we contrast that with someone like Elon Musk. Yeah. So what I'll do is here, I'm going to slip in a little clip from a video. Where is it from? This is called the Inside Edition. Again, I don't know their political leanings, but I'm just gonna, let me just get this here. And this is like, it's about a minute and a half or so. And I'm just going to turn the camera around and I'm just going to play it for you. All right, so back in a sec.
Is Elon Musk planning to father a legion of super babies? According to his newest baby mama, Ashley St. Clair, the world's richest man dreams of having enough children to save civilization. Ashley St. Clair is speaking out today, revealing the results of a paternity test that she says proves with 99.99% certainty that Musk is the father of her 7-month-old son. Just 2 weeks ago, Musk wrote, "I don't know if the child is mine or not." Here he is, Ashley says, in a New York hospital holding baby Romulus right after he was born. Musk has had at least 14 children with 4 women, 10 boys and 4 girls.
Hey, something.
His 4-year-old, little X, is the most visible. They go everywhere together, including the UFC event last weekend. And get this, according to the Wall Street Journal, Multiple sources said they believe the true number of Musk's children is much higher, and he wants more. Ashley says that Musk suggested they use surrogates to make more babies faster, to reach legion level before the apocalypse. She claims he solicits women to have his babies on his social media app X. One woman says she turned him down, saying she wants no part of his harem drama. Musk talked about his love of baby making at a recent conference in Saudi Arabia.
I know you've been doing your part to maintain the birth rate in the U.S.
Yes, I am. I do have a lot of kids, and I encourage others to have lots of kids.
We reached out to Elon Musk for comment, but did not hear back.
Oh, surprise, surprise. So there you go, folks. That perfectly illustrates and segues me into my next point, which is to talk about megalomania. Yeah, I've said it before, and I'll keep repeating it. And I think I said this a few months ago. I said Elon wishes to plan to have a legion of people in his likeness, of these children that he'll want to blend with AI technology. Remember, he's doing the Neuralink, yeah, the chips in the head. And I think he wants to create his own legion, his own army of people in his own likeness with his DNA, with these baby mamas whose genes he sees as superior in some kind of way, and he wants to blend those with his own. And he will try and have hundreds, if not thousands, yeah, of his own kind of like army. And you see, to the way we're saying, like, to, you know, basically repopulate the world before the apocalypse. Yeah. So not only is he a Nazi, he is a catastrophist as well. And he is also buying into this kind of Armageddon kind of idea, catastrophe, apocalypse, of course, which has been as old as time. And it doesn't mean that there will be no catastrophe or apocalypse, etc. But we have a Trumpocalypse evolving in front of our eyes right now. And I just saw some recent footage that was shared on independent media, iHip News. You know, the two ladies, it's called I've Had It, their channel, and they were just sharing their own, well, not their own clips, but sharing a clip of Elon just out of it. High, yeah, just, staggering around, you know. The level of derangement here is extraordinary. But before I go on, I'm going to read off here, and I'll try and drop it in here or something like that. I've got the page up here on my screen. And this is about megalomania. And this is from the article. It's an op-ed. Voices from Doximity Network. So maybe it's like a blog or something like that. Ravi Chandra is the MD. So I guess this guy is a doctor. And this is from 2023, and it's psychiatry. Anyway, I've highlighted this bit in blue so I can just read it off for you. Megalomania is the drive to dominate and control others to attain power and achieve one's own desired outcomes. The megalomaniac maximizes their own perceived agency and deprives others of their agency. I've outlined stages of megalomania based on historical examples which start with a belief in one's superiority and a resentment about not getting one's due, and process towards domination, manipulation, and winning. In the Machiavellian mode. It's not a term in the DSMV, so I think he's saying in terms of probably some psychological annals, doctrine, etc., when you're studying it, but it is related to narcissism, and the borders are perhaps unclear. Splitting is probably the most damaging psychological tool in their arsenal, the megalomaniac. Authoritarians are noted to use splitting to amplify ethnocentrism and bias against sexual minorities, or even just women, yeah? This is how they fortify their base in the majority culture. So I'll drop that in somewhere. So you see, this, it says a lot. Yeah, it says a lot about the mindsets of the likes of Elon Musk and those that support him. If we think of all the attacks that Doge has done on the government, attacking things like people's Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, making the website go down. It's all about megalomania and control, causing tremendous panic, wanting to destroy people's lives. It's also about eugenics. You've heard me mention this before, but what Elon is doing is also a form of eugenics. He's trying to make sure that his bloodline, he's using his billions to impregnate all these women, and these women are going along with it. Do you know what I mean? But at some point, I don't think there will be consent, to be honest. And so this is why I'm blending what Marcus Aurelius was showing us and contrasting that with the likes of Elon and his ilk, and obviously by extension, Donald. Look, Donald doesn't want to have thousands of kids, yeah? He's probably got quite a few that are slipped under the radar that we don't know about. And this is why I say in many ways those around Trump are even worse, because obviously Trump is a megalomaniac, but Elon, I guarantee you, literally wants to take over planets. Yeah, he wants to populate Mars. I know he does because I psychically tune in and stuff like that. So these are very interesting times that we're living in. However, there are positives. Yeah, there are positives. So there are places in the world where megalomania is really not so much of a thing, and there is an element of good living standards for everyone. So I'm going to play you a clip which is about Singapore, and it just talks a bit about Singapore, and then we will end it there. And please, of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments and stuff like that below. So stopping again, I'm going to turn the camera around.
Now over to Singapore, which has been classed as the greenest city in Asia. This city has some remarkable architecture, including the most recognisable building, the Marina Bay Sands. While these megastructures may seem bad for the environment, Singapore has ensured they have interweaved nature into the design. You can see more about the environmental benefits of these designs in my Green Buildings video. Singapore receives over 19 million tourists each year, which is more than what some of the large European capital cities receive. The major tourist attractions in Singapore have an eco-driven concept. For example, the cloud forest in the gardens by the bay takes you on a journey through nature, showing you all of its beauty. At the end of the journey, you are exposed to the devastation that humans are causing to the natural world, which makes you want to do your bit to help. Having environmental education like this for tourists means that Singapore is able to have wide-reaching effects with its sustainable efforts. Now, away from tourist attractions, Singapore may be classed as one of the most socially sustainable countries in the world due to its remarkable housing schemes. 80% of the population lives in public housing. This public housing helps families avoid homelessness and other kinds of housing instability. This has had great success in stimulating Singapore's economy, and it's one of the reasons why they have become one of the most economically successful countries in the world. Having a stable economy allows Singapore to divert their attention towards pressing environmental issues, rather than worrying about financial problems. Given the land constraints and the high population density, they have done exceptionally well to provide adequate green space. In fact, there is over 47% of green coverage in Singapore. This greenery extends up the buildings and also forms new gardens in the sky. Now, from our research and visits...
Well, there you go, folks. I hope you found that clip interesting. So you see, it goes to show it doesn't have to be the way that it is being sold to us. When it comes to politics, when it comes to standards of living, etc., particularly here in the West, or, as we would refer to developed countries, etc., it's all about choice. It's all about choice. It's all about leadership. We need to demand that our leaders have the foresight and the wisdom of the likes of Marcus Aurelius, that take their duties and responsibilities seriously, that want everyone to live equitably. The prime minister, I think it's the prime minister or president of Singapore, but their leader in Singapore gave a great speech the other day, which went viral around the world, which was talking about, you know, Trump's tariffs and stuff, and saying, look, life is going to get a bit more difficult, but we're doing this, and this to mitigate this. We understand the challenges. Kind, compassionate, articulate, wonderful leader. Yeah. There are good leaders around the world. And when we have good leadership, you know, we get those Singapores of the world. I've not had a chance to visit Singapore yet, and I do look forward to going there. I've been to Japan recently, as you guys know. And for me, you know, Asia is still a very unexplored place for me. And there are many interesting things to be experienced, tasted and understood about Asia and the Far East. There is so much here that we can learn. No nation on earth, of course, is perfect, and we've got brilliant stuff here as well in the West. But when we expose ourselves to different cultures, different ideologies, different lifestyles, when we see that when there is compassion-based leadership, how it benefits everyone, like in that little video clip in the voiceover was saying, because there is no abject poverty, as it were, in Singapore, the whole economy works. As the guy was saying, 80% of the nation lives in public housing. So they're not paying these extortionate rents. Because what's happened is we've applied capitalism to housing. And it's understandable, you know, I get the merits, you know, everyone wants extra money, etc., blah, blah, blah. But what happens though when the concentration of property ends up in fewer and fewer hands? Everyone ends up spending more. Everyone has the insecurities of that. Yeah. If we think of the States, of course, other places as well, but it has a huge problem with homelessness. Most people are bankrupted because of medical debt, etc. Imagine if everyone was like in Singapore, the majority was living in affordable housing, and you didn't have to worry about those things. Like if you lost your job, it wouldn't mean destitution or losing all your Medicare cover, etc., and stuff like that. All of these kind of things, all of these ills and these sicknesses that we see manifesting are coming from the outgrowths of unchecked capitalism, which is about exploitation, and it's about megalomania. Yeah, there are too many of the Elon Musk mindsets. I mean, he might be the most extreme example, but there are many that are like him, that buy into his ideology, and that is not going to work for humanity, particularly as he wishes to replace humanity itself in his own image, which is one of the ultimate forms of megalomania. I'm sure you would agree. So I hope seeing Singapore gave you some inspiration in this reflections video, and I will leave it there, and you will see me, of course, on the next one. Please be sure as well to like and subscribe and to share. This video is free. You know, it's free to subscribe, just like this video is. So it would be nice for this content to reach a wider audience. So big love for now. And of course, I will see you soon again in the future. All right. Bye-bye for now.